Welcome to Streaming News Network by Claude McDaniel.
A Russian-guided aerial bomb has destroyed the building housing the editorial office of the Mazivsky Meridian newspaper in the frontline settlement of Mazova, located in the Dnipropetrovsk region of Ukraine. The strike occurred on Sunday, March 29, when one bomb detonated near the intersection of Nezalezhnosti Avenue and Svyato-Uspenska Street, causing widespread destruction to nearby homes and businesses. Officials report that a second guided aerial bomb, believed to be a KAB-500, struck the newspaper's editorial office directly, leveling the structure and damaging surrounding residential streets. In a somber note, the newspaper confirmed that its latest issue, number 12,219, had been finalized for print just one day earlier, before the newsroom itself was reduced to rubble. This is Claude McDaniel, Streaming News Network. Donald Trump has unveiled a video rendering of his proposed presidential library, designed as a towering skyscraper plan for downtown Miami. The design prominently features the name Trump displayed at the top of the building, consistent with branding seen across many of his properties. The rendering also includes space designated for a retired Air Force One aircraft, similar to the exhibit featured at the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library. According to multiple reports, the government of Qatar has gifted a Boeing 747 aircraft that is expected to be retrofitted for use as Air Force One, before eventually being transferred to Trump's Presidential Library Foundation. This is Claude McDaniel, Streaming News Network. Attorneys for Tyler Robinson, the man charged in the killing of conservative activist Charlie Kirk, are seeking to delay a preliminary hearing scheduled for May, citing the need to review extensive evidence and forensic analysis. In court filings, the defense states that a report from the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms and Explosives could not definitively link a bullet fragment recovered during the autopsy to a rifle found near the scene. Additional testing is now being conducted by the Federal Bureau of Investigation. While the full report remains private, attorneys say available findings are inconclusive. Ballistics experts typically rely on microscopic markings left on bullets, often compared to fingerprints, to match them to a specific firearm. Prosecutors, who are pursuing the death penalty against the 22-year-old defendant, argue that DNA evidence connects Robinson to the weapon. However, the defense counters that multiple DNA profiles were found, requiring further analysis. The fatal shooting occurred September 10 on the campus of Utah Valley University. Robinson has not yet entered a plea and is expected back in court on April 17. This is Claude McDaniel, Streaming News Network. Scott Bessent is launching a new federal program aimed at cracking down on large-scale fraud, offering whistleblowers a significant financial incentive to come forward. Under the initiative, tipsters could receive up to 30% of fines collected from convicted criminals. The program will specifically target fraud involving government healthcare systems, including Medicaid and Medicare, where losses are estimated to exceed $70 billion annually. The announcement follows a January visit to Minnesota, where officials have identified widespread fraud schemes involving welfare programs, with alleged losses totaling at least $9 billion since 2018. According to Treasury documents, payouts to whistleblowers will come directly from collected fines rather than taxpayer funds. Individuals, both in the United States and abroad, may qualify for rewards if their information leads to enforcement actions resulting in penalties exceeding $1 million. This is Claude McDaniel, Streaming News Network. Donald Trump has reportedly told aides he is willing to end a United States military campaign against Iran even if the critical Strait of Hormuz remains largely closed. Administration officials say reopening the key shipping route could extend the conflict beyond a projected timeline of 4 to 6 weeks. Instead, the strategy would focus on weakening Iran's naval capabilities and missile reserves before winding down active hostilities. The plan also includes applying diplomatic pressure on Tehran to restore the free flow of trade through the waterway. If those efforts fail, the United States may call on allies in Europe and the Gulf region to take the lead in reopening the strait. The Strait of Hormuz is one of the world's most vital oil transit routes, and any prolonged disruption could have significant global economic consequences. This is Claude McDaniel, Streaming News Network. A funding freeze affecting the Department of Homeland Security has now become the longest partial government shutdown in United States history, surpassing previous records after stretching beyond 6 weeks. The agency, which employs nearly 193,000 workers, represents roughly 9.4% of the federal workforce. Efforts by Congress and Donald Trump to restore funding, either directly or through the Transportation Security Administration, have stalled amid ongoing disputes over immigration enforcement policies tied to immigration and customs enforcement. The impact is being felt nationwide. Thousands of airport security officers have called out of work, leading to long lines and delays at major travel hubs. Officials report that more than 3,500 Transportation Security Administration employees have been absent, with hundreds resigning amid financial hardship. The administration of Donald Trump has filed a lawsuit against the state of Minnesota and the Minnesota State High School League over policies allowing transgender athletes to compete in girls' sports. The U.S. Department of Justice alleges the state is violating Title IX, which prohibits sex-based discrimination in federally funded education programs. Officials argue current policies create unfair competition and conflict with federal standards. Attorney General Pamela Bondi says the administration is enforcing what it views as protections for female athletes. Meanwhile, Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison criticized the lawsuit, calling it politically motivated and pledging to fight the case in court. The legal action is part of a broader national debate over transgender rights, with similar challenges filed in other states. Federal officials warn that more than $3 billion in annual funding to Minnesota's education system could be at risk if violations are confirmed. This is Claude McDaniel, Streaming News Network. Howie Mandel is addressing a tense on-air exchange with Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos, saying he struggled with whether to apologize for remarks made during a recent appearance. The moment occurred on Live with Kelly and Mark, when Consuelos complimented Mandel on his appearance at age 70. Mandel pushed back, suggesting the comment sounded like a backhanded compliment, leading to an awkward exchange that left viewers uncertain whether he was joking. In a video posted days later, Mandel said that while he generally believes comedians should not have to apologize for jokes, this situation felt different due to his long-standing relationship with Ripa. He ultimately issued an apology, acknowledging that his reaction may not have landed as intended, while also adding humor by agreeing that he does, in fact, look great for his age. This is Claude McDaniel, Streaming News Network. 3 women were removed from a Frontier Airlines flight following a dispute over carry-on luggage at Miami International Airport. Authorities say Nafisa Dockery, Devana Cochran, and Deonjana Cochran were arrested after allegedly refusing to pay for an additional carry-on bag prior to boarding a flight bound for Philadelphia. According to reports, the women bypassed gate instructions and boarded the aircraft through a restricted access point. Airline staff then requested law enforcement assistance to remove them from the plane. Deputies say the trio refused multiple orders to exit, leading to passengers being temporarily cleared from the aircraft and a brief struggle outside. One of the women is also accused of spitting during the incident. The disruption delayed the flight by approximately 1 hour. All 3 were taken into custody and transported to a local correctional facility. This is Claude McDaniel, Streaming News Network.
Thank you for listening to Streaming News Network videos and shorts. Please like and subscribe to our news channel.